right, today's reading assignment kind of has to do with what we've been learning about for science. So I'm going to go ahead and when I'm reading this passage to you, I'm going to click the present button, and you can do that on your Chromebook as well to make it bigger for you to see. So this is called, this passage is titled A Closer Look at Chemical Changes. So that kind of gives me a hint to the main idea of this passage. Just based on what I'm seeing right here, I believe that this passage is probably about chemical changes. That's my prediction because that's what the title says. So I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then after I read it, I'm going to explain the different questions that you need to answer. So it says, chemical changes are changes that create a new substance. The change to the substance occurs to the molecules of the substance. The results of a chemical change cannot be reversed. Some common examples of chemical changes are baking cakes, rust forming on a nail, or a banana rotting. Not all chemical changes are as obvious. However, there are signs that you can look for to help you determine if a chemical change has occurred. If two or more of these signs are present, chances are you have a chemical change on your hands. A change in color may be an indication of a chemical change. So I'm thinking this whole paragraph is going to be about change in color. That's probably the main idea of this paragraph. Have you ever seen a rotting banana? The banana changes color as it rots. This is an example of chemical change. Another example is that shiny new bicycle that will rust outside in the rain. Over time, the iron from the bicycle interacts with oxygen and water, creating hydrated iron oxide, otherwise known as rust. The bike has just undergone a chemical change and will now be a yucky orange color. Another less desirable sign of chemical change is when an odor or smell is released. This does not occur with every chemical change, but some produce a new smell. Think of that milk sitting in your refrigerator past its expiration date. The milk undergoes a chemical change when it spoils and releases a very yucky smell in the process. Paragraph number 4. Light or heat given off from a change or reaction is another sign of a chemical change. Some people celebrate a summer holiday with lots of chemical changes all around. Have you ever noticed all the fireworks going off on the 4th of July? Fireworks are chemical changes because they are essentially burning chemicals that create light and heat. Some other signs of a chemical change are when gas bubbles or a solid are formed. A common example of gas bubbles forming are the volcano experiments where baking soda is added to vinegar. This mixture is a chemical reaction because it creates carbon dioxide gas. Sometimes liquids can mix together to form a solid. When two or more liquids react with one another and form a solid, a chemical change has taken place. Two liquids that create a solid are baking soda and calcium chloride. The next time you watch fireworks or throw out a rotten piece of fruit, remember to notice the chemical changes taking place right in front of you. So that is the passage about chemical change. Now your job is you're going to have to X out of this, but you double click on these boxes to put your answer. And it says, according to the text, what are chemical changes? And so I would like you to use this sentence stem. Chemical changes are, and then fill in the blank with what you believe the definition of a chemical change is. What are 3 chemical changes mentioned in the text? What makes these changes chemical changes? So I would like you to do 1, 2, and 3. And you would say, blank is a chemical change because. So you would fill in that 3 different times. So you'd have 3 different sentences saying blank is a chemical change because. And there we go. Then which sign of a chemical change was easiest for you to understand? Which sign was the most difficult? And why? So blank sign of a chemical change was easy for me to understand because is one sentence. And then blank sign of a chemical change was difficult for me to understand because. Now I'm going to present so you can see these sentence stems better. 5th graders, this is the sentence stems that I expect you to use. I want to make sure that you have a complete sentence, a capital letter, and a period for each of these questions that you are answering. You will be graded for each question, and each question is worth 10 points. So make sure that you have a complete sentence, a capital letter, and a period, and you're explaining why for each question. And let me know if you have any questions.